Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, our Teledec webinar. This is our third webinar of the year. And the title of the webinar is Corporate Learning's Paradigm Shift with Artificial Intelligence, hosted by Kushal Bose, who you can see on the screen, and also Emiliano De Laurentiis, who you can see on the screen too. You just want to wave as well, Emiliano, so everyone can see.
Hello, everybody.
Awesome. And this is a joint partnership webinar between Teledec International, Kushal is the CEO of Teledec, and Knowledge Avatars with Emiliano, who is also the founder and CEO of that company. So this is a joint venture and a joint webinar between these two incredible companies. I'd just like to introduce the two of them. So for Kushal, he is a nuclear engineer and is also a professional filmmaker. At Teledec, he passionately is involved in all aspects of design, including storytelling and deep learning. He's based out of Chicago and has worked with many big players within the automotive industry as a consultant and developer to build successful learning programs. Okay, and Emiliano, he's the founder of Knowledge Avatars and is an edtech innovator, writer, photographer, has pioneered applications of AI in education. He holds a master's degree in psychology and pedagogy. Knowledge Avatars is a robot tutor for schools or businesses, and organizations use it to teach their members or to publish content worldwide. And he's an absolute specialist in artificial intelligence. So today we're going to have a presentation like we normally do, but please stick around to the end because we're going to have a nice Q&A section. Normally, the Q&A section is by far our favorite because it allows us to communicate with you. All you have to do is just type your question into the chat and then we will get to it in due course. We have some pre-submitted questions, but the live questions always take priority, okay? So I'm going to turn the chat on during the presentation. You can type your questions in and then we'll get to them at the end of the presentation. So please stay around for that. That's what we love to do. We really love to answer all your questions. So without further ado, Kushal, do you want to begin presenting?
Excuse me. So let me share my screen first.
There you go. Kushal, please remember to turn on the sound sharing because we've got some important sound coming from for demos. Thanks.
Here. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, welcome again, everybody. This is a very unique presentation for the audience, the L&D professionals. And the most important thing is that today, the L&D environment is changing in an unbelievable pace with the advent of artificial intelligence. And today's webinar is all about a preview of the changes to come in the L&D. AI has hit us in a huge way, suddenly from nowhere, and it's become a mainstream of a lot of activities in the corporate world. But we and L&D have been doing our learning, design, and development and delivery for a long, long time. But suddenly, as we want to explore in this presentation, how it's all going to be changing, and I can see the handwriting on the wall, and I know you guys are also very curious to know, how AI is going to be affecting the L&D. So let's get started with our paradigm shift with artificial intelligence. Now, let's define paradigm shift. A paradigm shift is a fundamental change in approach and underlying assumptions. And both the approach and assumptions are, I guarantee you, are going to be changing very rapidly with this AI. So first of all, I'd like to, since AI is such all-encompassing tool that really touches every part of our activity, but we cannot talk about everything. So we have selected a few choice areas that we want to talk about, where artificial intelligence is going to do most impact in the educational technology. Let's take a brief look at our development steps. This is the typical development steps. Number one, we define the target audience, who we are going to train. And then we need, under step two is the learner profile. Who are we going to be training and about what? What is this training going to do to them? That's the learner profile. And then we need to audit the content, everything from video to PDF to job aid to the manual. We go through the whole thing and decide which parts of this content applies to the training. And then with all that, with the audience defined, the learner profile identified, and the content identified, we create a training plan. The training plan, in our case, in Teledec, is a huge document that really describes all the strategy, the curriculum, the teachers, the labs, the exercises, the testing plan, the assessment, all of that is identified in the training plan before we go into actual production. Then once we do that, then we start writing the storyboard with the step number 5 and start production. And then after the production is done, we create a prototype which needs to be approved. And then once the prototype is approved, we launch it to the audience, profile audience. And the very important thing after that is getting a feedback and supporting the audience with all their queries and all their concerns. With the learning launched, we collect learner data, which really gives us a good profile of what's working, what's not working. And then we calculate at the very end the KPI or the ROI of the learning program. And then after they will return to the job, after the training is done, we compare the before and after with is there any performance improvement with the training. So we call this the deep learning, and our methodology, we are going to be identifying a new terminology, deep learning. What is deep learning? We definitely wanted to talk about that. So that is the development process and the steps. Let's see how much of this is actually touched by AI. Now, AI is a great tool for the step number 1 is the advanced research. So any content that we create are going to be really hugely helped by AI, even outside the boundaries of what the corporate offers us in the manuals and in the videos and everything that we get. So AI is a great tool for doing corporate research, very easy and very deep. The next step is that creating the methodology, the instruction design. After we identify the content, we do the instruction design. Here, the deep learning is our patented process, and we create layers, and we talk about that in a minute. But we create the content in a layered design, and absolutely we will we'll show you how the layered design increases the memory and improves the thinking, the critical thinking of the learner. And then we also identify the personalized experience, that which part in our platform, AI allows us to personalize the training according to his or her own preferences and boundaries, outside the boundaries. Now, excuse me. And then AI also allows, this is an amazing feature of AI, assisting the learner 24/7 as a tutor, as an invisible coach. And when we are talking about AI, Emiliano is going to be demoing how that is done, how the AI is programmed, and all of that. The number 5 is when we create something like a video or a storyboard or a slide deck, AI helps us in a huge way. All the AV that we need to do, we need to create. And then, of course, the 6th step is the creating quiz, testing and grading. AI also happens to, you can ask the AI, what question should I ask on this content? AI will give you an answer. It's amazing. and then we'll share with you the actual, we'll show you how. And then finally, this is the most important thing for me personally and for Teledec, is the how do we build critical thinking skills. As you know, information is readily available today. Google and Bing and Wiki allows us to search for anything on the planet or even outside the planet, and we get an answer. But it doesn't really make any sense for us to present the information into the classroom again, slide after slide after slide, and I know many corporations do that. But instead of creating more information-based learning experiences, we feel that thinking should be really encouraged. And how do we make students do critical thinking, making a judgment, taking a decision? So that is really part where AI comes in very handy and do that. Just to identify the difference between deep learning and artificial intelligence, deep learning is at the core, is the process by which the brain works. And I will explore that in a minute. But in deep learning is the process with which machines have tried to emulate how the brain works. Deep learning is how the brain works, and then human brain works. But machine learning is actually trying to teach machines how the brain works, the logic, the links, the pathways. All of that is repeated in a machine learning. And artificial intelligence embraces both machine learning and deep learning, take it one step further, and it creates great output based on machine learning and deep learning. And let me explain to you what deep learning is, and Emiliano will come and explain to you what artificial intelligence. The deep learning is totally based on science. And this science has started in 1885, where Hermann Ebbinghaus created a forgetting curve. And that is still valid today. As you can see, our memory, anything that we go to the classroom and learn, within 6 days is practically everything is gone, all from our memory, wiped out from memory. That's human nature. This is in 1885, Ebbinghaus established with research. But then also, he also embarked upon a research about, so how do you improve our memory? How do we remember things? So he came up with this solution that by repeating information, you can see repetition 1, 2, 3, and 4, we can improve, and you can see the blue curve, the memory and understanding and thinking goes up. We can improve that. So based on these two formulas, our platform is built on one other thing, which is in 2021, Dr. Dane published a research paper on how we learn. And in that paper, he discovered and he established that brain works in layers. So, and the human brain has many, many layers. You can see the circles in the brain, the 3D image is all the nodes. And these are neural pathways that connect the nodes to each other. And as we learn something, as we hear something or smell something into our brain actually processes the input, which is on the left side, all the data, whether it's smell or hearing or understanding, and hidden layers open up and receive those layers deeper into the brain. And that's where the deep comes from, the deep learning. The deeper, it's not physically deep, but this hidden layer open up and then creates an output. So as we go forward with it receiving information, the deeper it goes, the more chances are that you'll remember it, just like you remember a song from your childhood or a face or an incident. And those are repetitions of the information within your brain. It's very similar to depicted in this diagram. Although the brain is not layered like what's shown in this diagram, but it's simplistic representation of how layers work. So in our platform, we created all these layers that is taking any subject. It could be psychology, it could be science, it could be math, it could be physics, any subject, and we create an environment of layered delivery of that subject. And we'll show it to you in a minute. The layer one is must know, layer two is good to know, this is supplementary augmentation, and then that's augmented by stories and events, and then layer four is critical thinking, and then we have an AI avatar, and then we also have connected the expert to the format, and then we take the test. There are two types of tests: as a regular assessment test for certification of the course, and also critical thinking test. Are you a critical thinker? And then, of course, there's references. So we'll show you all of that, how it works in an actual e-learning platform. So, and then comes the Teledec AI. This is what it really helps the learner at any given moment, at any time. He can click on the AI button in this platform and then ask a question, and AI will give you an answer to that. So it's almost an invisible coach throughout the journey of your learning that helps you must know, good to know, stories, references, and help you do the critical thinking. And Emiliano will go over that with you. So with that, I want to hand over to Emiliano. Emiliano, please take over. And Emiliano has an unbelievable background in artificial intelligence, and he has his own company called Knowledge Avatars. And we have partnered to create this platform. Emiliano.
Thank you, Kushal. It's my great pleasure to be partnering with Teledec. The Teledec AI is basically a knowledge avatar. Knowledge avatar is a technology of our AI, and we will be embedding knowledge avatars as a Teledec AI in all of the Teledec products. So with that, I will share my screen, and we can start to do a little bit of a demo. I really want to have enough time to give everybody a chance to ask questions. So I'm hoping to do this in about 10 or 15 minutes, so we have enough time for questions, because I know that you all have a lot of burning questions here. So let me share my screen, share my audio. I believe we are good here. So there are several things we want to talk about. We want to talk about how, just a minute, sorry. I believe you see the Teledec AI, everybody? Evan, can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes, we can see it. Thanks.
Good, thank you. Just want to clarify, because there's so many windows open on my screen here. So we're going to talk about a number of different things. Because of the questions that are coming in, I decided that I'm going to slightly change the order in which we're going to do things. But we're going to talk about how AI works. We're going to talk about some of the things that you could use AI, and specifically how Teledec AI can be used to generate images, to generate copy and other kinds of content. All right. Then we're going to talk about that's some more general content, and then we're going to go a little bit more specific. We're going to talk about how you can have more personalized learning with the Teledec AI, and then we'll talk about skills mapping and what I call the knowledge matrix, and how that enhances the capability of our AI to teach and for students to learn. I just want to emphasize that I have been working on the application of AI in education since the 1980s. So Knowledge Avatars was actually started 9 years ago, before ChatGPT existed. So we have been thinking a lot over the years about how to use AI for education, and how to improve the learning process. So it's not just about chat, it's not just about talking to a bot, it's also about making sure that the content that is being presented to students is valid, is accurate, enhances their learning. Okay, so that is now just 1 second here. Scroll a little bit.
Make sure you turn on the audio.
It is on this. So why, first of all, why do we use a character in our? Why do we have a character? Well, studies have shown that people relate more to a person, to a face. It's built into human nature to interact more with people and with faces, and that is one reason why we want a warmer human experience for you to have with the bots, and not just a cold and generic experience. With our bots, you can talk to them with a microphone, so I can just actually speak with my voice, or I can text content in and receive a response. The response is also will be by voice and by text, so that if you have hearing trouble, or if you want to be in a quiet environment, you could read the responses. In addition, the bots will present content like images and videos as well. So it's not just text; it's also audio, videos and images. So how does, in general, how does AI work? Well, you probably heard a lot about ChatGPT. You've been hearing a lot about the large language models, or also called LLMs. And what essentially happens is that a bot scours the internet and scours other databases in the internet to try to make sense of all the content that is out there, and organizes it in some fashion so that it can be accessed. It's not just by keyword, of course. It's accessed by tokens, which means it's every piece of information is represented in some fashion. The latest version of ChatGPT, for example, has 100 trillion pieces of information stored in its databases. Now, just to give you a comparison, the human brain has 100 trillion, same number, 100 trillion synapses. So it's quite a lot of information that is being stored in the internet, but it's not in real time. So you have to understand it's not in real time. For example, with ChatGPT, they can only it goes up to September 2021. Anything that has happened after September 2021 is not in their database, so it would not be accurate. And then there are other issues as well about accuracy that I'm sure you've already heard about in the news, and we can cover some of those issues later on. But this is general knowledge, all right? So the GPT gives us access to general knowledge, which is something that we didn't have before. And we have incorporated that into Teledec AI. So we can ask Teledec AI questions that are very general, and we'll get a response. So for example, I'm just going to copy and paste the question so that I don't have to type it. If I asked, what is the general theory of relativity? It takes a few seconds to answer because it's going through a lot of information, but here it is.
Absolutely, I'd be delighted to talk about EV cars.
Oh.
They're a great solution for reducing emissions.
Yeah, it's responding from a previous question. Sorry, let me put the question back in. What is Einstein's general theory of relativity?
Einstein's general theory of relativity is a theory in physics that describes gravity as a curvature of space and time caused by mass and energy. Basically, it suggests that the more massive an object is, the more it warps the space and time around it. Einstein's general theory of relativity is a theory about gravity. It suggests that massive objects cause a distortion in space-time, which is felt as gravity. So, objects move along the curves in this distorted space-time.
All right, so that is, again, accessing information that is general knowledge and that is available to us, right? And you can access that information through Teledec AI. We can get a little bit more specific. Let's say I wanted to let's say we're talking about cars now, and I wanted to ask it, which physics theory applies to acceleration in cars. Okay. Still thinking. We're going to have
Newton's second law of motion.
all right, and that is correct. We are accessing through Teledec AI the latest version of GPT-4, which I think right now is like 4.5, and that it is the most accurate of the GPTs. This is much more accurate than ChatGPT, by the way. So if you're paying for ChatGPT, this is a different animal. Right? It's more accurate, and we have a license with OpenAI to use this particular version of the latest version of ChatGPT. So now let's talk a little bit about if you're doing research on and you're creating your course. So you want to create your course and you want to do some more research. How do you go about? How can you use a Teledec AI to do that? Well, we can ask some questions that are related to the kind of course that you're developing. Again, we're talking about general knowledge that should be there out in the world already. So for example, if we're talking about EV batteries, let's say I could ask it to write a generic description of an EV battery. All right, let's see what it comes up with. And again, this is not pre-programmed. This is all in real time. We are now accessing the pod just like you would if you had access to this.
An EV battery, also known as an electric vehicle battery, is a rechargeable battery that supplies electric energy to an electric vehicle. It essentially powers the electric motor and other electrical components in the car. The battery's main components include lithium-ion cells, which are known for their longevity and strong.
Okay, I think you get the idea. So this is an actual, it's a good answer, and very, very factual kind of response. Now, again, you're an e-learning professional. You want to develop a course. One of the beauties of the LLM models is that it has some very good processing capabilities, and what it does is it can process information and respond to your request in a way that that summarizes. It can analyze and create deductions and analyze content, whether it's out to the open internet or content that you have specifically entered into our knowledge base. So just to give you an example, if I wanted to, I'm developing a course, and I say provide me with an outline to an EV e-learning course. So what would it do? So this, I'm developing a new e-learning course, but I want to start thinking about how I would organize this course. Well, the AI can look at all kinds of examples of previous courses and come up with an outline that gives you something to start. Let's see what we get here. It may be a different response from what I got yesterday, but we'll see. Okay. All right.
Sure, here's a basic outline for an EV learning course. 1. Introduction to EVs, definition of EVs, the history and evolution of EVs. 2. Understanding EV technology, the anatomy of an EV, battery, motor, inverters, and charging system, differences between electric cars and gasoline cars, different types of EVs, BEVs, FEVs, HEVs. 3.
I think you should be suitably impressed, right? The bots are very good at deductive analysis. Now you may be asking yourself, okay, so that's all cool. How do I actually use it in the Teledec AI? How can we use this to teach? Well, we gave you the capability to enter your own content as well. So you can enter your own images, your own videos, your own text, in your own concept. The Knowledge Avatars platform is an engine that allows you to enter this content as concept by concept, so that you're training the bot with your knowledge. So that when you're asking it a question, it doesn't go to the OpenAI first. It goes first to your knowledge base, the knowledge base that you have created in the Knowledge Avatar platform to come up with a response. So, for example, I can ask a question here. Okay, tell me about emissions test failure. Just something that some people have asked about.
Emissions test failures typically occur when a car's emissions exceed the permissible levels set by local or national regulations. This could be due to a
Okay, so we get a very specific answer. Also, we want to make sure that the bot it knows that we're talking about the content that we have entered into as well. So we want to say let's talk about EV cars. Lets it know that we're talking about that it should be accessing not just OpenAI content, but it should be accessing the content that we have entered.
I am here to help you learn how to diagnose car issues.
Okay, so now we know for sure this is an image that we have entered. So we know, okay, we've got the feedback that it knows of what we are talking about, that we are talking about the content that we have entered into the system. So now I think if I ask the same question as before about test failure.
The emissions test failure can indicate many things. Ask me what am I missing to see possible causes of the emissions test failure.
Okay, so now we got the response, not from AI, from OpenAI, which we talked about before, but specifically from the content that we entered, including an image that we entered. And we could ask a question such as, like it says here, what am I missing to see all the prerequisites? What are all the things that I need to understand in order to understand the emissions test failure? So if I ask it, I'll just say that, what am I missing?
There are 5 prerequisites: air-fuel mixture, spark plugs.
Okay, so it is now focusing in and saying, these are the things that you need to know in order to understand emissions test failure. And again, as an instructor, as a learning developer, you have the control of this, so that now the student has a much more directed approach. And I can just I can ask about any of these things directly, or I could just go ask it to go next, and it will go to the next concept that I need to understand. To
A catalytic converter reduces emissions if it is working properly.
Okay, and it provides any images that I put in myself. So if I wanted to, again, if I'm teaching about a particular car, it would be the images of that particular car. So we do a lot of this by now we'll talk about skills mapping and the knowledge matrix. So the knowledge matrix is a let's have the bot tell us what the knowledge matrix is.
A knowledge matrix is a visual representation of the concepts that make up a body of knowledge. It shows which concepts are prerequisites to understanding other concepts.
Okay, so the knowledge matrix is essential for unlike ChatGPT, this bot understands content and what other content are required for you to understand, or for a student to understand a particular concept, and that can easily be entered into our system without any programming or coding of any sort. And that can also be used the knowledge matrix can be used to record how students are doing, what they understand, what they don't understand, and we can use that to query the bot to ask them, what does John know about EV batteries. What are his skill sets? How can we improve his skill sets? So it's a map of what you need to learn, but it can also be a map of the things that the student understands or does not understand, and helps us to possibly to find out where they are best placed in an organization, or it could also be used for hiring purposes. If we're hiring somebody new, we can send them through some questions and answers through Teledec AI, and the bot can learn, can give us a response as to what it is that the student needs to learn, or where their strengths are and where their weaknesses are. That's the main thing that I wanted to talk about today. I think I'd like to stop in about a minute. Is there something else, Kushal, that you wanted to?
I just wanted to mention to you there was a question that came up. How do you teach the bot? What's the back end look like?
So the back end is basically a set of forms, and you and we enter.
Can you demo that?
Sure. Let me. Okay.
How do you limit the knowledge of the bot to a specific subject or a topic or images or video within the space of the avatars, meeting a certain criteria within the course?
Yes.
And while you're looking for that, I just want to mention that the biggest difference between ChatGPT and Teledec AI is that Google is also an AI, because once you put a search word, it goes out to the internet and brings out millions of answers, and you only look at the first few answers and page number 1. But there are many, many other pages that you don't look at. ChatGPT does the same thing. It goes out to the internet and filters out information from all over the world, and then brings it in front of you. But Teledec AI actually limits, you program what Emiliano is going to be demonstrating to you, is that you limit the search parameters of the AI to look at a smaller database. And it is the fact that AI doesn't work very well when the database is small. But if it's trillions and zillions of information, pieces of information and data, ChatGPT works very well. It's with high accuracy. But if you limit the data set to a smaller database, then the accuracy drops drastically. So this is the reason why we created our own AI riding on the ChatGPT version, but creating a new format and AI and Emiliano.
Well, just to be clear, ChatGPT is a backup. It's a backup content system, but it's not the main system. So when you enter in, so here we are. You see the screen with the two guys here and the bot. Yep.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
We can see it.
So if we go to, here's our knowledge matrix. Okay. This is the content that I entered, right? That as a learning developer that I've entered, and I can go to a particular concept, and it takes us to that concept. Let's go to something which has an image. I just happened to pick something that does not have an image. Here we go. All right, so here we go. And this is the same image that you saw earlier, right, with the bot. And basically what we have is, here's some text, and here is the bot. Now if here's our knowledge matrix, right? How do I enter this? Just click on edit. And I upload an image, just a simple, just like you do in any website. And then you go down to the body and you type in whatever text you want to put in. This could be part of a manual, even could be made, and this, you want to be concept by concept. You want to be as specific as possible. But it could also be much more, there could be more content. You can have a whole book literally here, and the bot will try to make sense of it. But the more specific you are, the more accurate the bot will be.
So basically, you're teaching the bot with this interface.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And then here, under prerequisites, you just enter the content. What are the prerequisites to this particular concept for a student to understand this concept? What are the prerequisites? And you start typing in the name of a concept, and it just highlights the concept exists already in the Knowledge Avatars database, and then you select it, and you're done. And you save it, and you're good. It's as simple as that.
So it could be anything from healthcare to mathematics or physics or engineering. You could put the information that you want to really the learner to interact with. This is how you program the AI to spit out the information that you want the learner to learn.
Right. And we've trained the bot. We have trained bots in a matter of an hour, a matter of days, depending on how much information you want to enter that you want specific. And again, let me just repeat to get everybody clear on this. The Teledec AI bot will always prioritize the knowledge that you enter into it. So the knowledge, however you've entered into the database, it will prioritize that information. If it does not find the information in the Knowledge Avatars database that you have entered, it goes on to the OpenAI database. And by the way, all the information that you enter into Knowledge Avatars database is proprietary to you and does not ever go to OpenAI's database. They don't mix databases. The databases are totally separate. And in fact, there's a privacy statement on the OpenAI website that specifically says that your data, that any content that we enter into the system remains proprietary to us and does not get mixed in with OpenAI's database. So you can have very private content that is being taught via our bots that will not ever be shared by anybody else.
All right. So
with that, I would like to pass it back to Kushal, and I hope I was clear in my description. Thank you.
So I'm sharing my my screen now. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I just want to go here and okay. I've got to be really quick to create this demo.
Welcome to the world's first critical thinking skills development platform leveraging deep learning. Click next to continue. This presentation demonstrates the capabilities of the critical thinking skills building platform leveraging deep learning principles. The content presented in this demo is for demonstration purposes only. The intended audience for this demonstration is engineering students or fresh graduates centering the automotive engineering in the field of electric vehicles manufacture.
I'm going to go very fast to introduce the concept. As you can see in this screen, there are throughout the platform, there are many different icons that are used, and you click on any icon and you get information about what that icon means. And these are the layers in the deep learning. Must know, good to know, stories, critical thinking, and all of that. So throughout the entire platform, these are available to the learner. So in this particular module, there are two modules One is basically intended for soft learning, sales and service people, and the other one for technical people like the mechanics. This is about EV. So if I click on the module 2, it load up the module 2. In this particular module, we are talking about 12-volt battery in an electric car. And again, within the 12-volt battery related training, this is a fault finding and how to correct it. So there are many different topics. So this particular module topics is about battery output, reverse polarity. So reverse polarity is the topic of this module, heavily focused for technical audience that has to learn what do you do when your meter fluke shows a reverse polarity. Now here on the right side is all the deep learning layers, as you can see, and you can click on the must know. These are the topics that the learner must know. So this will be the test that he has to pass on this subject and to really get credit for this course. So here's the manual, and it goes on how to measure, how to check, how to troubleshoot, and so forth. This is the part of the manual, and here's the repair manual. And there is a video in here that we can also watch at the part of the must-know curriculum. I'm going to go real fast with it. Here's a safety that you have to click. You can click on the safety manual and look at the safety manual and the job aid. So you can see that it's a pretty complete course on the on a battery reverse situation. But these are some must know, and you'll be tested on this. But along with this, another layer of information is a good to know, is supplemental information. How do you build a battery? What's a vehicle history report? Well, did you know? So you can click on any of these, and actually you can to learn about EV trivia. This is good to know. And then also there's a fun facts that you can actually look at. Again, this is to really make the learner want to learn more, which is the basis of curiosity. And what we're trying to do here is to just the deep learning philosophy tells us that if you really create enough, basically it's really like the Netflix of interface. What Netflix does is look at your pattern of viewing, romance, mystery, documentaries, and then suggests some similar interest films that Netflix puts in front of you. This does the same thing. Once you select the must know, good to know, and stories also come up to you and gives you augmentation and supplements the must know content, everything related to battery. These are the injuries due to reversal of the battery, EV sales, and all of that. So, and then comes the references, and then there are many different downloadable references and the manuals and surveys and videos that are available, just like in the Netflix. And then in the critical thinking, which we already showed you with the AI comes in here in play, because you are now looking at case studies for reversal, what happens. And there are many different case studies that we can that critical thinking questions and the case studies that are available for you to look at. You can look at the depth of the content. I'm going to click it really quickly so that we have some time left for the question answer. But here the battery management system, battery safety, and so forth. So, and then here the AI help, and then you just saw how everything that you are learning on this platform,
here to help you diagnose your car trouble.
You can ask AI at any time on any subject, and then AI will be able to help you with that. And then we also have and ask the expert. So ask the expert is the subject matter expert within the company. You can type your question here, and it will be directed to the SME, and he will communicate with you. And throughout the entire presentation, there is navigation help. So I'm going to shut it down right here and go to the question answer, because we got 12 minutes left.
Through the content presented logically.
So
Learners may be.
Can
okay,
we,
thank you, Kushal. Thank you so much. So let's go directly to the Q&A. Okay, guys, we've got some questions that are ready to go. I'm just going to share my screen. We've collected the live questions from the chat. Okay, are you all seeing my screen?
Yes.
Fantastic. So first question was, using AI for corporate research, what are your concerns about identifying and validating sources? So this is for both of you, Emiliano and Kushal.
Okay. Should I start?
Please.
So obviously, if you're using AI just to do research by itself, and you're using the OpenAI interface, there are concerns about
the validity
of the information.
Yeah.
The GPT-4, the latest version, is more accurate, but it can have some bad information. So really the thing to do is to be as specific as possible in answering your questions, and asking the question. The more specific you are, the less likely that it tries to make something up. In other words, rather than just asking, write me a business plan for an EV car, that's too general. It'll come up with all kinds of information. But if you ask for write me the description of an EV battery, that's much more specific, and it's much more likely to be accurate. And you have to use your judgment, and you may have to double check. In fact, you have to fact check it, and have have other sources as well for that kind of information. Now, of course, if you are entering content in the database, in the Knowledge Avatars database itself, then you have that's 100% accurate, because that's the content that you have entered yourself.
But I would also run this by the SME within the company, who knows the
Right.
subject very well. Just like any Google search.
Yeah,
You know.
you have to do it. Right. You do exactly. It's a good idea.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I think you kind of already touched upon this, Emiliano, but is your AI proprietary or public?
Yeah, well, first of all, ChatGPT is not public. ChatGPT is proprietary as well. So the person who answers the question may have a misunderstanding of what ChatGPT is. You pay to access ChatGPT. It's not free, and they just made it free for a certain amount of time just to introduce it to the world. Now, our technology is proprietary, but the content that you put in yourself is yours. So that is your content, but the platform is proprietary, and we license the ChatGPT or I should say the OpenAI technology to access GPT-4, which is the latest version. And as we get GPT-5 and so forth, we will be upgrading to those platforms as well.
Thank you. When you train the bot with your own content, is that then available to others who have a license with ChatGPT?
I think I've answered that earlier. The answer is absolutely not.
The answer is no.
No.
Thank you. Okay, and then there was, Evan, could you share the link to the YouTube channel where we can access the video of this presentation? What I've actually done, I've actually in the chat, guys, I've put our YouTube channel. So I'm just going to put it again in the chat, and I'm going to put it here as well.
And
Okay,
not
this is the
only
message
this
that I sent.
presentation, not only this presentation, all other previous webinar presentations videos are available on the YouTube link.
Exactly. So I'm just going to open it up here so you guys can see our YouTube channel. Go to videos. You can see here all of our previous webinars that we've done. You can see here from our first one all the way up to the most recent one we did about a month ago, almost like 2 months ago. So absolutely, please. And also, if you go to the teledec.com website as well, we also host them on our teledec.com website. So yeah, everything that we do is available, and please share with anyone who you think would be interested. We've got 4 more minutes. I'd like to go to some pre-submitted questions. So do you see layoffs on the horizon in the L&D community due to AI taking over many L&D tasks, Kushal?
I think, yes, very much so. The corporations are under huge financial pressure to reduce costs, and AI can do many of the tasks that many learning and development professionals do. And AI definitely is going to be impacting our L&D community really hard. However, the good news is this, that there is such a topic called prompt engineering. So AI cannot work without any kind of an intelligent hand, intelligent mind working behind it. So there will be some use of, so that's the reason why I feel it is necessary for you guys, L&D professionals, to get to know AI very well. So that you can really use it to your maximum advantage and to exactly, for example, if you go to Google search, if you don't know what you're looking for, you'll be completely lost. So I think the part of the effort today has been to get you familiarized and get you started on AI and how to use the AI in L&D. But absolutely, I see companies reducing costs, not only L&D, but everybody's reducing costs. But we will be not without any employment, but we will have to go to a different skill set. And this is the reason why the platform that we have built is encouraging, and it is really to build the critical thinking skills. And the critical thinking skills come from your knowledge that's expanded beyond this few bullets that's covered in the classroom. So our platform really extends the boundary of knowledge to a lot of other things: stories, events, supplementary information, accidents, good to know, fun facts. All of that embellishes your knowledge about a particular subject. And with that embellishment comes your decision-making skills, critical thinking skills. So that way you can really be an expert and your skills develop. Today, the whole employment scenario is resume-based. When you submit a resume, there's a scanner that scans the keyword from your resume and matches it with the keywords of the job description. But that's going to go away. Artificial intelligence is going to be looking for your skills rather than your knowledge and your certification. The skills are what it's an upside down situation where the employment seeking individual will come on an employment platform and tick mark on the skills that he is skilled at, not the degrees, not the knowledge, not the certification. He'll be looking at clicking the skills, and these skills will map against the job skills so that's where it's going to go. So I think the best way to do is to improve your skills rather than your knowledge information. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you, Kushal. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so guys, we're just going to do the last question now because we've got only 1 minute and I want to respect everyone's time. I'm just going to scroll down and I want you, Kushal, to talk about the special offer, please.
The special offer is this. And I really think that it will be great for any of you guys to really want to get a detailed demo of the platform that we just showed to you. I just skimmed the surface, but I really would like to show it on a one-on-one basis on a half an hour, and it doesn't cost you anything. And you see if this platform matches your learning environment and how can we put your content into this platform. So the special offer is all about that. In other words, how can we make a prototype? The important thing is the pilot. Can we create a small pilot at little or no cost to you that we can take and say that, okay, this platform with the deep learning platform, with the critical thinking skills building platform, we can use it for our company. So here's the prototype. then only we can go back and then tell and convince the company to really to build it something that your learners can learn from. So the special offer is for that prototype. And if you when you click on the special offer button, you'll be required to fill up a form. And this form really gives us an indication of your interest, of your industry, your company, your technology, and then we will jump on a call and sort of schedule a demo that we can and jointly decide whether we can build a prototype pilot at little or no cost to you. So that's really what the special offer is.
Thank you so much, Kushal. And I've just put in the chat now, guys. It's teledec.com/special-offer. Okay, I've just put it in the chat now. So if anyone wants to fill out that form, please do. And as Kushal said, absolutely no strings attached, just a call to see if we can build a prototype for you. Fantastic. I just want to, we've just a little bit over time, but we managed to get through almost all of the live questions. There was one question which came from Rich. And so Rich Clark, that's quite like a big question, and it was just submitted right at the end. So I'm just going to ask you to go to either Kushal, Emiliano, even myself on LinkedIn and reach out to us, and so that we can maybe help you better, because it seems like quite a complex question.
Can we hear the question? What is the question?
It's in the chat, Kushal. Okay, Rich, yeah, Rich just said got it. So Rich, I'm gonna put Kushal's email, Kushal Bose@Teledec. Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Rich. Thanks for your understanding. All right, I'm going to wrap up now. Thank you to everyone who came. I really appreciate it. It says a lot that you take an hour out of your day to come and listen to what we have to offer. We're very excited about this. This is an incredible technology, and it's just the beginning, and we're absolutely Teledec is always at the forefront of these kind of things. I want to say thank you to Emiliano, who again did a really good demo of his technology. I want to say thank you to Chris, who is in the back end, kind of like feeding all your questions and making sure everything's working. And then, as always, I want to say thank you to our CEO and founder, the visionary himself, Kushal Bose, for hosting another incredible webinar. And that's it. Thank you, everybody.
And thanks, Emiliano.
Thank
and
you.
Evan, you
My
too.
pleasure.
And
Thank you too.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a lovely day.